What is going on, guys? Brandon here. We have your Monday, April 3rd, 2023 market update. The algorithm hates truth. So please, anytime you hear anything really that goes outside the mainstream narrative, please trust, but verify. Verify, do your own research, DYOR, but send it out though. Boy, when you find something that really hits, something that really slaps, as the kids say, let's share that. Let's get this out. The only way we're going to win this peaceful revolution against the oligarchs, the plutocrats, the aristocracy, whatever you want to call it. There's a term, a billion terms, is by getting out truth, by getting out education, by getting out. I mean, we live in the greatest time in human history. Never before have we had the ability to have our own protection, our own money, our own social medias, and ways to communicate. Before all this was, you had no way to protect yourself. You had really no way to communicate. You had no money you could use outside the state. It was all under control. It was all for the elites at the top, the unproductive class, and you just had to deal with it. And now we have all these ways to protect ourselves, buying food storage, water, filtration systems, all these things that we take for granted that are there to protect us. We've never been freer. We've never been, had more at our disposal, had more resources, and we just need to utilize it. We just need to utilize it. There are way more of us, 99%, than there are people at the top trying to control us. So we have to remember that. And we will win. We absolutely will win. I want this to happen sooner than later, though. I want there to be less unrest. I want there to be less violence, polarization, hate, division than there needs to be, than there is now, and then there could be going forward. Because as we know here, we've predicted more violence, more unrest, because people are continually lied to. You look at Donald Trump, like him, love him, and hate him. I don't really care either way. But you look at that guy who has just taken slings and arrows left and right. And the average person just sees the more arrows he takes for the average person now. Because now, as I don't know who it was, Glenn Beck or somebody just said recently that he is now a symbol. He's not even a person. He's just a symbol for the average guy just getting run over. And then the bus backing over them and then running over them again. The two-tier justice system, the egregious taxes, the things that are going on with children, and the exploitation of our children in every single way possible. Their lives are just, pieces of trash to be thrown around and used as political fodder. It's mind-blowing. And that doesn't have to happen. That's literally all of our doing. That's all of our doing. We put these people in positions of power to then go bring on bureaucrats that are unelected and bring on more bad people like the people we've elected. You are the 5 people you hang around with. And if you elect bad people, they're going to bring in more bad people. And they hang around with other bad people. It's just as simple as your mother saying it to you when you're a child. Like, hey, guilty by association. Be the best person you can be. And hang around other good people, because you will become like them. So that is my beginning rant. Please share truth, because the algorithm hates truth. And let's get into this market update. Hopefully you had a great Palm Sunday. We got Holy Week here this week, and an incredible time to be alive. So I appreciate you being here more than you know. So let's jump into this. United States 10-year, we got some interesting movements going on. The United States 10-year is 3.43 on the 10-year. So we've seen a move down in this a little bit in the yield, as you've seen in our last couple of days. And you're going to see this throughout here, these metrics. So the big three, the trifecta, that really are the dog that wags the tail of the markets. What is actually going on and what is actually going to happen? If this is at the 4%, 4.2% yield, you'd see countries collapsing again. You'd see the Fed scrambling. You'd see liquidity being pumped into the market in different ways. And it's been falling. It's been going the other way, because we've had really this kind of push for liquidity going forward over the last handful of months that we've been watching here. This steady deluge of liquidity being pushed in the market. And again, the last month here didn't help with the banks failing and things like that. So in saying that, let's check out the DXY and what is happening here. And again, here you can see, look at this. Ever since the banks really failing over a month ago, or just about a month ago, just boom, straight down. Basically, the DXY, the dollar, the yields coming down, and so people buying up. Leaving the dollar, and just in general, the dollar falling, right? Because you've seen the BRICS, you've seen all kinds of data just in the last headlines, just in the last month here, since the bank's been failing, liquidity being pumped in the system. So people leaving the dollar, buying up other assets, buying bonds, buying up oil. You'll see here in a second, up at $80 a barrel. That's up like $15 a barrel from just a couple weeks ago. And so you're seeing people think a little bit more positive about the economy in a way, and which is crazy, but liquidity being pumped in the system, and you see the network effects of the dollar falling apart because of what's happening with BRICS. And whether that happens or not, it doesn't matter. Again, remember, this is a psychological operation. The dollar itself is debt. It's not money, because money is a store of value. The dollar is dead. It's backed by nothing. So it's the network effect, and it's by fiat, it's by decree. So when the narrative is falling apart and people are leaving and countries are leaving the dollar network, well, it loses value. And really, at the end of the day, it's the dollar is a relative strength against the basket of the currencies here. There's only about a half dozen currencies. So it is very, very deceiving, because I'm going to show you right here, if you price things in Bitcoin, at the average new car. Look at this. Over the last 10 years, the price of the average new car has just gone up and up and up to the right. You have to find more dollars to buy the same car. Or I could do this with a house. I could do this with beer. I could do this with, let's see here, a median new house. And we'll see, we'll do all, and then we'll do fiat. So here you go again, up and to the right. Got to find more dollars to buy the same exact 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch. Why is that? It's the same house, hasn't changed. So here, if you're owning Bitcoin and holding Bitcoin, your life gets cheaper. It used to cost you 10 years ago. It cost you, wow, what is that? 4 million billion trillion. It cost you 4 trillion sats. Now the average or the median house only costs you 2 billion sats. So down and to the right, life gets cheaper. As we've been saying forever, life gets continually cheaper if you hold a finite asset, if you hold a deflationary asset like Bitcoin. Bitcoin is time and time is Bitcoin. It's only 2 finite assets we know of. Again, if you know something else, please put in the comments. I would love to know, so I can only trade my time in a couple finite assets, and that's it. But there's only 2 I know of. This is where this talk about Bitcoin will be reprice all the energy markets. It's going to reprice everything, commodities. This repricing the world, and as you can see right here, it's happening right here. This is why we show you this every single day, to show you the changing world, the Bitcoin life raft floating away from the sinking legacy fiat Titanic. This is what's happening. And I don't know what else we can show to literally say, again, I know emotions sell and logic justifies afterward, but I'm logically and emotionally trying to give you a story and tell you, look, life, the last 10 years, if you hold Bitcoin, your life gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. Just imagine what's going to happen in the next 10 years when they print another $100 trillion. And again, we've talked about that a ton and why they're going to have to. So if the dollar's debt, and the system will implode if they don't print more and more, exponentially print more currency. So we'll have a $100 trillion debt, not a $31 trillion debt. And then we'll have a $1 quadrillion debt in probably 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. So what will happen to the dollar then? You're going to have to find 10 times, 100, 1,000 times as much currency just to buy the same 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. And this is going to be down to the floor. Bitcoin is going to cost you, 1 million sats instead of 2 billion or 2 trillion. It's going to cost you 2 million sats, or maybe 200,000 sats. So the more Bitcoin you collect now and convert your fiat trash to Bitcoin now, the more it's going to buy you in the future. And that's really all it is at the end of the day, is purchasing power. That's what we're looking for, is purchasing power, and maintaining and growing our purchasing power and keeping our time and energy. As we have shown all the time, our time and energy. This is all this game is about. This is what the game is about at the end of the day. It's a bucket, finding the right bucket to hold our time and energy. So here we go. Bitcoin is a finite bucket, completely contained. Hold your time and energy. Here in fiat, if you're holding fiat, you have a hole. It's inflation. And there's nothing else, no better representation and visual of that we can show in here. Your time and energy goes in and just leaks out the side in inflation. So what are we going to choose to hold our time and energy? That is the big question. So as we said, the dollar, watch this, because things are easing a bit. This is why you see now risk assets are taking off a bit. We have the S&P 500 up over 4,100. This is why these moves have gone up, because we've seen the loosening of the monetary system, at least for the moment. People arguing QE and all that stuff. Doesn't matter. Just watch the numbers. Watch these numbers. That's all that matters. You don't need to get caught in the weeds of all this stuff. And that's, again, what we do here every day, and the point of what we do. And the dollar's down at DXY is at 102. It's almost going to break 102, sub 102. So be very careful what's going on here. And this is, again, why we've seen Bitcoin rip, gold rip, and silver rip. So we've seen this, the last trifecta, crude up at 80. So again, when we see this happening, people think that the economy is going to be good going forward. And we see the BRICS nations, the petrodollar falling apart. And so crude oil is going to jump. Commodities in general are going to jump and do very well going forward. But again, we need to price in Bitcoin. If you really want to see the true story, numbers tell a story, as Robert Kiyosaki says. If you want to see the true story, you have to price everything in Bitcoin at the end of the day. So, great, we could hold a barrel of oil, but what is that going to do necessarily? So this is why this is very important to see what is going on. Here is, again, a barrel of oil. If you hold Bitcoin, you can buy more and more oil. because the price of a barrel of oil gets less and less and less if you hold in Bitcoin. And here is in dollars. It's pretty much stayed even over the last 10 years. Because again, oil is oil, so it makes sense. It's kind of just held its path there. Let's see gold. Let's check out gold. Another commodity that generally it priced things for forever, for thousands of years. And again, we can see the same thing. Gold has about kept the same level right here across here this whole time. And again, if you held in Bitcoin, you're getting more and more gold for your Bitcoin. So your Bitcoin is buying you more and more things as time goes forward. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense. And we'd like to do more with that because it's very easy to see what's going on. That website is pricedinbitcoin21.com, or Google search priced in Bitcoin or pricedinbitcoin21.com. So those are the trifecta. Those are the big three. Let's see the really briefly. We got Bitcoin up over 28,000 still, doing very well. Obviously over the last month or two in this liquidity environment and banks failing and people rushing to things of actual safety, actual hedges, actually outside the system. Same thing with gold and silver. Gold up dang near at $2,000. Again, all-time highs, just above 2,000. So all-time highs. Silver is still right around $24 an ounce. So doing very well over the last couple of weeks here, the last month, and it makes sense. All is right in the world because these indicators are at least making sense. Because for a long time, the last 10 years, they haven't. Because the system broke in 08. The system broke, and they've been trying to, the unproductive class has been trying to paper everything over the last 10 years and trying to figure things out. They're trying to get their CBDCs, the central bank digital currency, slavery coins, the Fed now, all this stuff. They're trying to get their currency out here to trap everyone and to own everything, and you own nothing. And they're going to tell you you're happy. They control everything in your life. They can switch you in and out of the system, flick a switch off, and you're done. You're gone. In their system, you can't control it. You have no idea what's going on. You can't audit it. But Bitcoin, we can. Here we are. We can see what's going on. Time chain calendar here. We can see exactly what's going on with Bitcoin, all the metrics we need. We can audit the system. We can see the mempool. We can see exactly what is going on. And it gives us the auditability. If you run your own node, you can look in the mempool. You can audit everything. You know the predictable monetary supply. And we have a world where we're going to live in a world of cheap energy, nuclear, thorium, just massive abundance because we have priced everything correctly. Bitcoin aligns all those incentives. So the world will change. The world is going to change massively when Bitcoin will render money almost pointless, actually, in a way. And this is, again, one of my theories as well. And I just heard someone talk about this recently. If you have such cheap energy and abundance all over with what you're fueling your transportation with, or in your house, and your eating and things like that, then money becomes almost pointless in a way. Like it becomes arbitrary, where it's like, okay, like that's fine. Now you're free. Bitcoin is going to free everyone to follow their passion, their calling, go down to the library and teach children, some really smart people, instead of being, working at GM down the road and having 17,000 C-level executives and a bunch of brain drain going into this company that's failing and has to be bailed out each 10-year span, which is absolute insanity. You're gonna have these people. They're gonna start saying, you know what? I want to teach kids. I want to teach underserved kids, underprivileged kids, and I want to go do that. You're gonna have these brilliant people start using their knowledge and their know-how and their intellect to go start actually priming and educating the future. And the school system, the formal education system, will completely implode. And a lot of the good teachers from the formal school system, will then go out and do their own things as well. They'll be out at the library. They'll have their own business maybe. They'll be out educating the youth. They'll be out at the playground. They'll be with parents there, forming groups and having an actual actual education, actual hands-on, STEM education, actually learning, hands-on, visual, and actually doing something that furthers human beings and progresses human beings, instead of just being locked away for 7 or 8 hours because mom and dad have to go to work and just locked in staring at a lecture and a whiteboard for 8 hours a day. Game changer. So Bitcoin is going to foster all that. So I appreciate you. Bitcoin is running. It's beautiful. The sun is up, as Nolan says. Nolan Bauerle, check him out at Count BTC. Wow, crude oil up, 6%. Mind-blowing stuff, but our future is looking very different if we so choose. Again, my prediction is we're going to have some rough waters ahead. I really think this next 5 years is going to be the most pivotal, the craziest time. And 2028 is going to be really a game changer. That 2028 to 2032 period is going to be the changing of civilization. So I appreciate you more than you know. I appreciate you coming to my TED Talk. Please share this. Algorithm hates truth. This is not financial advice. It's freedom advice. So please share this out. Time is Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is time. I look forward to seeing you on the next one.